This is the middle school, Middletown Area School District. The Middletown area has a long history that intertwines with American history. The school sits on part of the Spanish-American War campsite, Camp Meade. According to the last census, in school year 2009 and 2010, the district's enrollment was 2,332 students. That's a lot of people. And in my job, you're bound to bump into them. I work here. I'm a teacher. A history teacher. The story you're about to hear is true. Events have been researched to protect the innocent. It was a Tuesday, September 9th, hours before the open house. It was a hot, humid day. My comrade, Ken Britcher. The boss was Kevin Cook and Chris Sattel. My name, Little. Remaining true to the landmark 1834 Free Public School Act, the Social Studies recognized the central role of Pennsylvania schools in developing useful and contributive citizens. In the Commonwealth, the Social Studies are closely defined as four academic disciplines: civics and government, economics, geography, history. These concentration areas are not meant to stand alone. They are interrelated fields that assist students in understanding how many forces shape their lives and opportunities and define their relationships to the world around them. Ken and I were discussing how we were going to go about relaying this message to our parents that night.
Tell me, Kevin, parents want their children to be problem solvers. They want their children to distinguish between what is important and what is not. Students need to be passionate about what they're learning and have fun in school. I know I want students to think outside the box despite being in one all day. What are we going to say to the parents? What are we going to say to parents as their children struggle for the 21st century education?
Well, there's one thing we can say.
What's that?
Practice what you preach. We decided to do some research of our own. We're going to the experts, the primary resources. We informed our bosses and traveled to a book signing on the other side of Royalton. The two-time Pulitzer Prize winner David McCullough was there, and we were ready to ask him some tough questions.
Hey, McCullough! What do you think the 5 lessons our students need to learn before they graduate high school?
5 lessons our students in history need to know before they graduate from high school. Well, the first one I would tell them is what I was told by a graduate student when I was a sophomore in college. And not only have I never forgotten it, it changed my whole point of view about history to the point where I now realize it helped change my life. He said, "I'm not going to hold you responsible for any dates or any quotations. I don't want you memorizing dates, and I don't want you memorizing quotations. That's what books are for. You can look them up." And I thought that was what matters is what happened and why. I would want them to understand most definitely that the United States of America did not begin with the Declaration of Independence. There were hundreds of years of history before that happened. And particularly not to overlook or neglect, because it is so rich and interesting, the history of the Native Americans who were here before our ancestors arrived. I would want them to learn history through other means than books and teachers. I would like them to learn history through music, through plays. I would like them to learn history by doing drawings themselves. I'd like to learn history through architecture. In other words, bring them into the tent, not just because of books and quotations and dates and boring. Don't do boring. Because it isn't boring. It's about human beings. And then I would want them to bring students in to study the different statues around town. They write papers about the statues. I would like to give them a photograph or show them a building, maybe 2 or 3 students for one building or 2 or 3 students for one corner of the city or the neighborhood, and make a little mini with your. They all have these little video cameras now. Make a little documentary, or write a play about it, or write a paper about it. Do a joint effort. Figure it out yourselves. Don't give them everything. Make them figure it out themselves. Because when you come upon the answer yourself, when you resolve the mystery on your own, you never forget it. And let them have the experience. Finally, I don't know if that's 5 or 12.
Just the facts. Just the facts, please.
Finally, let them have the chance. Please, 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 let them have the chance to work with original documents, to hold those pieces of paper or the nearest facsimile possible in their hands, to go to the Library of Congress, to go to the National Archives, to go to the Smithsonian, and get the idea that this was written by a human being with a piece of paper and a pen, and he was real, just as real as you are, and he held it just about the same distance from his eyes as yours are, because you can connect with those vanished people in a tactile way that you can't connect any other way, and it really makes it come alive. The next best thing is to take them to places where things happened. Take them to historic sites. Take them to Gettysburg. Take them to Williamsburg. And that's true for parents and grandparents. It works. They'll never forget it. It is, and it's very good that you show them, you, the parent, the grandparent, the teacher, show them how much you're interested in it. Show them what you love. Attitudes, great teacher of teachers, Margaret McFarland, once said, attitudes aren't taught, they're caught. You catch the attitude of the teacher. If you're excited about it, if you're enthusiastic about it, if you're willing to take time out from your life to drive them up to Pennsylvania to go to the Gettysburg battlefield, they get that. And they'll never forget it. They may not show it when you come back the next day, or they may not show it 2 years later, but someday they'll say, ah, that trip to Gettysburg, that's what started me.
There it is. McCullum hit the nail on the head. His last quote of the day was this: a nation that forgets its past can function no better than an individual with amnesia. That says a lot. Ken and I had what we needed for our parents at open house.